What new products do you expect in WWDC? I actually think it's not going to be too crazy in terms of actual physical hardware. There's no way we're seeing the iPhone 6, we're not going to see the iWatch, we're not going to see the Apple TV. Maybe we might see some new Mac Minis because it's been so long since they updated those. I would absolutely love for Apple to finally release a 4K Thunderbolt display. That would absolutely make my whole month. But I think the primary focus is going to be on iOS 8 and the next iteration of OS X. Hey guys, Jonathan here with TLD. Hope you guys are doing well, and I am back kicking off a new Q&A style series of videos that we're gonna call Ask TLD because that seems to make most sense. Now, I've been meaning to get around to a video like this for a long time, and the funny thing is, while putting this together, I actually remembered about 3 years ago exactly, back when I was pretty much new to YouTube, I actually got together an Ask TLD video, got all the questions. As a matter of fact, I still have the document in my Dropbox. So if you happen to see your name right now and you're still an active watcher and subscriber, then hats off to you because you are one of the most awesome people on the planet. Regardless though, 3 years later, we're here, we're answering questions, and if you want to get in on the action and ask me anything, shoot me a reply on Twitter at TLD today using the hashtag AskTLD, and it might be answered in a video like this one. Now, real quickly, before I jump into the bulk of the questions, I quickly want to answer this because with WWDC being tomorrow, I've been getting tons of questions asking me, Jonathan, where can I watch it? How can I stay updated? So the official date is June 2nd, 2014, and it'll kick off live at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's California time, my time, 12 p.m. Central or 1 o'clock Eastern. And if you're anywhere else in the world, I will have those linked down below. Now, the good news is Apple will be live streaming this, so we can watch it, follow along. If you happen to be at work or school or something and you can't watch it live, I will be watching it myself and tweeting updates. So if you guys want to stay filled in on that information, make sure to follow me on Twitter at TLD today. So with that said, let's go and kick off the first episode of Ask TLD. What are your thoughts on the LG G3? I think that pretty much sums it up. It is a beastly looking phone, and that display. I dig what they're doing with the software and keeping it minimal, and yeah, you guys can expect coverage on that as soon as I can get my hands on one. What is your typical day when you are working on a review besides the Bulls games and picking up girls? So first off, I'm actually happily engaged as of last December, and I couldn't ask for a more caring, supportive, or just awesome person in my life, and I don't think I would be where I'm at today without her, so yeah, no picking up girls for me. Now, on the flip side of that question, I think what you're trying to ask is what do I do when I'm not making videos? And besides actually watching basketball, I love playing basketball. That's actually a really cool bond that my brother and I share. We got to play in a league this year, and I could literally play for hours on end because I just love playing basketball. On top of that, it's being at the gym, spending time with family, and I've really lately got a passion for eating for health. That is something that fascinates me to no end, and I get super geeked out over the concept of what we put in our body and how it affects us. So whether I can improve it myself or help someone out, that is something that I really enjoy outside of actual tech videos. What video gear do you use? As of right now, I am shooting on the Panasonic GH4, so thumbs up for 4K quality. And as far as my microphone goes, which you guys cannot see in the image, I'm using a Sennheiser MKH416, which is an absolute killer microphone. So just as an example, this is what the GH4 onboard mic sounds like, and it's crap. And we are back to the MKH416, which sounds amazing. Do you have the No Sleep Team band? As a matter of fact, I do. So Ty, thank you brother for sending me one out. And actually right now, as of recording this video, it is just before 3 a.m. in the morning, so that bracelet definitely applies. What do you think about MKBHD? I think Marquez is an awesome human being. He's got a super hard work ethic, which I think I respect most about him. He's an awesome friend, super humble, and from watching him way back when he was literally a little kid and how far he's come and grown and earned all of that is just awesome. When did you get your first phone and what was it? So I'm not sure the exact year, but my first smartphone was the Moto Q. Now, my favorite memory of that phone, because it's funny now, it wasn't at the time, but I remember the first day I got it and I was so just geeked out and jazzed up that I can actually browse the internet on my phone. We happened to be going in a store with my then girlfriend, now fiance. She went into the fitting room to try on some clothes. I was just literally on my phone looking at ESPN. One of the employees, of course she was a female, came up and started asking me questions. My then girlfriend, now fiance, walks out. I got my phone out, she's talking to me, and it just doesn't look good. Needless to say, I got the silent treatment for the entire rest of the night. So I was not happy then, but it's a pretty funny story looking back on it. Obviously, years later, we're here, we're engaged, everything is good. If money wasn't an issue, what would be your dream setup or gear? So since we're on the topic of money not being an issue, I'm gonna actually take that one step further of reality not being an issue, because my dream setup does not exist yet. As much as I love the GH4, I absolutely love the C100. The problem is that caps out at 1080p, and I'm not ready to drop the cash on a C500. So for me, a C200, 4K recording, that would be my ideal camera setup. So Canon, make it happen, Captain. What do you expect from the HTC One Prime? So what we were expecting is a possible 5.5-inch display with a 1440p resolution, but unfortunately it looks like all plans for that Prime have been canceled at this point, so sadface.jpg. Heat or Spurs, and in how many games? Now, of course, me being a Bulls fan, it is in my blood to root against the Heat, but I gotta say, they were definitely the most dominant team in the playoffs this year. The Spurs looked really good, and there were times when they looked unbeatable, but I think at points, they definitely showed their age. So I'm a little bit worried for the Spurs, but I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say Spurs in 6. Which courier service are you using to send me my Voigtlander lens? Not happening, Dave. What would be your favorite video game console or video game of all time? I don't know if I could narrow it down to one console or one game, but the one that brings me the most nostalgia, I would have to say, is the Sega Genesis. I grew up on Sonic, Lion King, Toy Story, Battletoads, you name it, that was my childhood. What made you start making YouTube videos? I've always been into technology, and I remember being into music production before video, and with that, I remember getting my first Mac and falling in love with it. From there, I ended up watching guys like Soldier Knows Best and John for Lakers on YouTube back when they only had like 10, 15,000 subscribers, and that inspired me and said, you know what, I think I could try making something like that, and look, now here we are. How did you become a Bulls fan if you're from LA? Now this actually goes back to when I was a kid. I was probably 4 or 5, and I always loved basketball. I remember being like 2 or 3 years old, watching my dad shoot a basket and me trying to emulate that. So when I was maybe like 4 or 5, they ended up getting me a Michael Jordan jersey, and from there I was instantly hooked. Been watching them ever since. I am now 27 and still a die-hard Bulls fan. Is a MacBook Air good for video editing, for example, editing and uploading to YouTube? So that's kind of a mixed bag. I think the MacBook Air is a very capable machine and can handle things like 1080p no problem. So if you're just doing basic edits in 1080 and things like that, then it makes a fantastic option. However, if you do plan on shooting anything like 4K on something like the GH4 like I'm shooting on now, there is no way that little MacBook Air is going to handle that. So again, for 1080p and basic stuff like that, yes. For anything higher than that or more advanced stuff like After Effects, I would definitely recommend checking out a quad-core MacBook Pro or even an iMac. I'm from the D. What is your excuse for being a Lions fan? So I know my sports teams are completely all over the map and off the radar, but as far as the Lions go, my dad was actually a huge Detroit fan. So Pistons, Red Wings, Tigers, and the Lions. And I ended up watching a game with him when I was probably about 7 years old. And from there we watched Lion games every single Sunday. It kind of just became a tradition, and I became a Lions fan. So I think that about wraps it up. It is getting late. I think I need some sleep now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did and you want to see future videos like this, definitely let me know by hitting that like button. It is much appreciated. Again, if you have a question and you want to see it answered on a video like this one, just hit me up on Twitter at TLDtoday using the hashtag AskTLD, and I might answer it. Aside from that, if you guys missed it last night, I posted an iPhone 6 versus Galaxy S5 Everything We Know So Far video. So if you've been kind of on the ropes and you're not sure if it's worth waiting for the iPhone 6, definitely check that out. I think it'll help you out. I'll have it linked right here and also linked down below. Aside from that, I am going to get some sleep, and I will see you guys later.